Welcome back, novices. Look, we've all bought like a $15 lure that promised to catch us a 10-pound bass. You tie it on, you cast it out, and then you retrieve it like this. It's the panic reel. You're winding your lure so fast your lure is screaming through the water, looking like a bait fish that forgot it left the oven on. The actual fish we're trying to catch, they're watching it zip by at a zillion miles an hour, sipping tiny cocktails saying, "Did you see that blur?" And the other fish is like, "Yeah, too much caffeine." Today we're going to fix your cardio workout that you call fishing. We're talking about cadence and the rhythm of your reel, because it's a secret language of catching fish, and most beginners are speaking gibberish. All right, the first technique is called the commuter, or I don't even know if it's called a commuter. I'm going to call it the commuter. This retrieve is like the bread and butter, the standard. When you do it wrong, it's absolute disaster. So a fish sees this thing coming at it at a frantic pace for 20 minutes and thinks, "Nope, that doesn't look natural. Must be a cyborg fish." So the mistake is you're reeling like you're trying to win a carnival game. You get it all the way back to the boat and your arm is tired. Oh, geez. But the good news is the hook's completely clean. So the fix here is going to be slow motion. Think of your lure as like a badly injured minnow, like dragging itself home. You want your retrieve, you want to be able to get that spinner blade spinning or that crankbait like wobbling. That's as slow as you can, but to get those lures to have those actions.
Factual tip.
If you're using a spinnerbait or a crankbait, a slower retrieve maximizes its thump and its flash. The flash is what gets his attention, the fish's attention. But the slower presentation, it gives the fish a chance to calculate its strike. Try to reel in at like the speed a sloth would move if it was looking for his lost parked car. So it like feels wrong, like going so slow. It doesn't feel natural, barely moving your reel. A lot of times it's so natural for me to start reeling, I'll take my hand off the reel and fuss with something, pretend like my beard's itchy, but it's pretty excruciating how slow. It feels wrong. It feels like you could take a nap, but the lack of urgency is what triggers the chase. Technique number 2, the indecisive meal, the stop and go. This technique is designed to target the fish's most primal instinct. It's the easiest opportunity for the fish. You're gonna reel, 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 pause, reel, 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 pause. And that's the cadence. Now let's look at the mistake. The mistake is when you reel, 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 pause for half a second, reel, 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 pause for half a second. See, the problem is the lure comes through the water, you stop it, it pauses, and then you yank it away from a fish immediately. See, all the fish sees the lure, and then all of a sudden it sees the lure get teleported away. Fish are lazy, and they're opportunists. When a lure stops, it either floats up to the top slowly, or even better, it falls. That's the moment the fish sees it and goes, "Ooh, it's collapsing. Dinner is served."
Factual tip.
This technique is deadly with jerkbaits and jigs. Jerkbait, you can also do a different way, but if you're just getting into it, you can pause. Jigs, you can do the same way. Give them a 2-turn, pause. You're not trying to move them too far. When you pause it to trigger the strike, the rule of thumb is you basically have to pause long enough to make yourself nervous. Like nothing's happening down there. Try counting to 3. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. If you didn't think about checking your phone, then you haven't paused long enough. With a jerkbait, it's going to come through the water, and when you pause it, it's just going to sit, it's going to fall or rise or just suspend. That can create the reaction strike from the fish. So when it's generating a reaction strike like that, it means that the fish are biting purely out of instinct, not out of hunger. Be like putting chili cheese fries in front of a guy. He's just gonna eat them and not even notice. Technique number 3, the twitch or the jerk, the wake-up call. When you need to be rude, use the twitch or the jerk, aka the wake-up call. We're not trying to trick the fish anymore. Now we're just trying to annoy them in a bite in our lure. This is for aggressive, actively hunting fish. Okay, the mistake is 1, rod tip shouldn't be up, it should be down. You shouldn't be reeling when you're twitching. So this isn't, you're not doing anything with that. So if you yank up like this, all it does is create slack in the line, and it messes up you actually trying to hook a fish. So you want to keep your rod tip low towards the water, just above the water surface. And you're going to tap, tap, different cadence, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. But you're going to pause for like like what we said, the stop and go kind of thing. That's going to apply here, but it's when you tap, you're going to tap it on slack line, and then you're going to reel a little bit. I just did a half turn on this. So you're still pulling it on slack line, but you're pulling up the extra slack line with that half reel turn. So it's a cadence I had to work on for a while to get the hang of it, but once you do, it's awesome. So what this action does, if you're using a top water like a spook, it makes it cut and spit. A popper does the same thing. It makes a subsurface dart erratically. So that's what the jerkbait, or a spook, is a top water jerkbait. It's the same action. Jerkbait's going to cut that same way, but it's subsurface. If your lure doesn't look like it's having a nervous breakdown, that means you're not twitching it hard enough. It's got to be able to cut. It's a back and forth kind of walk the dog action almost. That's what it is. So cadence here isn't speed, it's consistency of how the lure is walking. The speed of the lure moving back and forth, cutting. You need to keep reeling in the slack as you are using this slack, because on the pause, if you have extra slack line out, you won't feel that bite. That's when most of the bites happen, is when you stall out on that twitch, the lure cuts. You have to have your line tight, that way you can feel the bite and get the fish. Be ready.
The conclusion.
The freestyle jazz. No. So you have the 3 golden speeds of retrieval now. The final novice lesson here is don't be a one-trick pony. If you fish an area with the commuter style, where you're just a constant retrieve for like 10 minutes and nothing hits it, switch to the indecisive meal, the reel pause. And if that doesn't work, try giving it the wake-up call. Hit that like button if you saved your arm muscle today. Yeah. And subscribe to the Freshwater Fishing Novice YouTube channel. This channel, because we're making you a better angler. One embarrassing mistake at a time. Maybe. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week.